Hey, what's up, Injustice 2 players and my fellow Roar community? Today I'm going to discuss a topic that's been troubling me for like many months. How do you one-shot Dr. Fate? Of course, the going standard is to use Silver Banshee. I'm not going to deviate from that standard, but there's a few things that frustrated me. I had my Silver Banshee maxed out at 270. I had my SP3 maxed out at level 70. But every time I tried to sue the good doctor for malpractice, I kept finding that my case was a little slow. I couldn't figure out why I wasn't able to finish Dr. Fate. And it was frustrating because I didn't want that to be my fate. What I'm going to show you today is you can still one-shot Dr. Fate with an imperfect build and imperfect gameplay, as you'll see later. But here's some of the elements that you need to understand before you achieve this. First, your supports are going to be the key to your success. Some like to use Shazam as their support, and he's great due to his damage buffs for the Might and Arcane heroes. Silver Banshee is no exception to this rule. Lots of our players in X, Roar X, play with Shazam, and they do it with great success and deal well over 10 million in damage. I personally found that I don't really like Shazam for the following reasons. First, his combo building isn't as strong as some other options you might have. But more importantly, I prefer to use him with Armored Supergirl against Captain Cold. So, who do you use then? I like to use Reverse Flash. I think I'm not alone in this. I think there's quite a few people that use Reverse Flash. But, and that's a very strong but, if you're going to use him, you really have to build him properly. And that was ultimately the reason why I was failing at my one-shot with Dr. Fate. Looking at my gear, let's go to real quick.
Reverse Flash.
Looking at my gear, all my gear were received free of charge from raid drops, so thankfully I didn't have to upgrade those. But if you look at my specials, they're also level 1. And that's because I know very specifically that, or what, he's really used for. In this situation, he's used for combo building. He's not used for dealing damage. Therefore, I'm not going to waste any of the limited resources that we have to build this aspect of Reverse Flash. But what you'll see is that I've maxed out his passive. And that passive is that you get the chance to power swap with your opponent. And so, in the middle of the battle, it is great help when you switch in Reverse Flash to do a combo and he steals Dr. Fate's power. So then you can then use that to build your SP3. Now, onto his stats. As you can see here, these are my stats for him. In an ideal world, where, you know, the Reforged tokens are not, and I repeat not, more rare than legendary characters, I would have maxed out my defense and I would have much higher health. But Reforged tokens are really hard to get to, so I'm going to do the best I can as S2P player. The most important thing really is, if you look at the fast attack chance, it's at 73%. And also if you look at my health, it's at least at 24,000, so that he can take a few shots without being completely destroyed. Also, if you look at my damage over time resistance, it's at 40%. You want to do that because if Dr. Fate starts dropping bombs of SP2s, you don't want him draining you completely and losing the opportunity to combo build. Okay? Secondly, your second support is going to be a power cost reducer. This basically boils down to either Dr. Fate or Power Girl. I prefer to use Power Girl. because I like to use Dr. Fate with my KOA team, or the Lantis Aquaman team, for those of you that don't know the acronyms. Besides, I mean, if you really think about it, wouldn't it just be rotten or ironic if you get beaten up by a version of yourself? Anyway, your Power Girl should be built as a tank. Mine, again, as I said, I don't have a perfect build. I have tons and tons of Reforged tokens. You can see here my health is at 25, my defense is only at 57, but my resistance, again, is at 36. But what you'll see is that my Power Girl can take super from Dr. Fate and not get knocked out. I don't really use her a whole lot in the fight unless my reverse flash gets knocked out early because he gets caught in a super or some other reason. And then in that case, she has to step in to help cover his role in the combo building. And that's part of the reason why you want to make sure she's built properly so that she can help Silver Banshee if you should lose your reverse flash. Now let's look into Silver Banshee's data card.
Silver Banshee.
As I was saying before, my Sonic Boom SP3 is at level 70. All my gears are at level 70. Okay. So my attack is at 4,500. My health is at 19,000. As you can see from the data card, I don't have maxed out critical attack, lethal attack, or fast attack checks. In an ideal world, as I was saying before, these would be maxed out, but that's not really possible given the limited resources with regards to Reforged tokens. These, in my opinion, are close enough or good enough for me to be able to do the things that I need. I will say also that if you're building Silver Banshee to fight Dr. Fate, of course, if your gameplay is perfect, you won't need this at all. But my gameplay is not anywhere close to perfect. So what you want to do is, with your talents, you want to make sure that you have high crit resist and damage over time resist. Because if he starts, as I was saying before, if he starts dropping SP2s everywhere, you don't want to have all your health drained from you. And in that case, then you basically will lose your Silver Banshee before you can really do all that. And as you can see here, all of my talents, none of them are epic. So again, this in itself is not perfect. Okay, so a couple things that you need to know about Silver Banshee. First of all, she's not an offensive character like a Justice League cyborg. You can't just go charging at your opponent, hoping for the best. Because Silver Banshee is best played as a very defensive character. If you find you're getting raped, it's probably because you're being too aggressive with her. That's why Silver Banshee is perfect for Dr. Fate, because when he gets really aggressive, he starts throwing SP1s and SP2s everywhere, and then the best thing you can do is just pull back. And when he's rampaging like that, as I was saying, the best thing you can do is just hang back and wait to counter him. And she's great for that. Next, you have to use your SP2 first. Why is that? It's because if you look here, SP2 applies Torment to the current opponent and forces them to tag out. When there's only one opponent, they won't tag out, but she will apply Torment to them. And that's going to be very important when it comes to dealing damage. Because opponents that have Torment applied to them are going to suffer a whole lot more damage. And more importantly, when you run your SP1, it's going to lock his abilities. If you don't have Torment applied, you can run SP1 all day long and it won't lock his abilities. And if you read your passives, I believe it's on SP3, your Sonic Boom deals 100% more damage per disabled special and is armor piercing. So depending on how many specials Dr. Fate has locked, that will determine your overall damage. And if you have all 3 locked, that's going to help you so much, and it's going to increase your damage to somewhere between like 1 million to, I've seen up to like 1,800,000, given all factors are in your favor. For example, if the crit actually triggers and you have a high enough SP3 level and your attack is high enough, you can get pretty close to that. So, as I was saying, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you have an SP2 first, and then you run 3 SP1s to lock 3 of his specials. You don't want to go for the super, because what happens is that when you try to lock the super as well, by the time you get your combo built and you finally fire off your SP3, you're going to lose one of them anyway, because that's going to take too much time. So don't worry about locking the super, just lock the first 3 specials and then tag in reverse flash to build your combo. Ideally you want to get somewhere between 30 and 40 combos, but I've heard up to 20 is good enough, because then you can get up to about 1 million from your SP3 in that. Let's skip over to the gameplay and we'll meet you over there. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to try to do is to generate power for Silver Banshee's SP2. I'm using reverse flash. I never attack right away because he usually blocks, and then you get an SP1 to face. So you can see here, I'm just maneuvering back and forth, trying to generate some power so that I can run my SP2. Tag in Silver Banshee, and you apply that torment. So I was saying, the first thing that he did was to start throwing projectiles at me. It was real easy to just step back, block, jump through them, and then apply SP2. You can see here when reverse flash tagged in, he stole a bunch of power bars, which made it really easy for me to get my SP3 when I built my combo. Here I'm locking his specials again stealing the power, generate my combo. If you're looking at my hits, you can see that it's going up by 3 every time I hit him, and that's where that fast attack chance really helps you build your combo, because reverse flash has a 3 hit, so when you've got fast attack, every time you hit him, it's only 3 times. No crit there, or actually there's a couple of times when he didn't crit, so when I jumped in, like here, there's no crit, so I only got like 300,000, which sucks, but that's partly due to my incomplete build, partly due to the fact that the game just isn't 100%. This time it does crit, got 1.3 million, which is really cool. Here again, I'm locking the specials 3 times. Tap in reverse flash. Unfortunately, reverse flash's passive only works 3 times in a match. So the great thing about it though is that as you get closer to the end of the match, you won't really need it because power generation is pretty fast. In this one here, just building combos. So Banshee tags in, and another crit, 1.3 million again. There you go, your one shot. Thanks for watching.